If you're a heating air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what do you need to know about the buyer's playbook and why does it matter? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you for HVAC Technician sales secrets. Okay, so I'm going to put a whole series together about buyer's playbooks, and I'm going to start with number one because it is the most confusing for salespeople, and that is the laydown. Now, sometimes you're going to meet with a buyer, sometimes you're going to meet with a client, and they are ready to buy. And there could be a multitude of reasons for this, and some of them have nothing to do with you, but it really confuses salespeople because they think like this mythical creature is how everybody buys, okay? So, got to tell you a story. Way back in the day, I ran a sales call to somebody that I had been to multiple times. We're talking lots, at least 5. And in the sales process, it got to the 5th presentation, and I had literally given this presentation 5 times. I pushed really hard at the end to close this deal, and I got kicked out. So, rightfully so, got kicked out. I was using tons of pressure. It was what I was doing. It was what I was after. It was like, this is the playbook that I'm going to use. And so what happened was buyers kicked me out. And one of my friends, Tad, that worked at a different company, went behind me. And the homeowners literally told Tad, they go, we will buy anything you want or anything you got as long as we never, ever, ever, ever see Scott Bell again. And so I ran into Tad and he told me, he was like, hey, Scott, you know these people at XYZ address? I go, oh, yeah, I do. And then he told me the story, okay? I initiated a laydown for him. Had they not told him that story, he would have never known why he got the laydown. So sometimes the stars align, the salesperson that was in front of you really upset that buyer, and that person became a laydown. 2, it could be their personality. That's just who they are. That's their buying style. They meet with somebody, they like them, they're like, good enough, stamp of approval, done. And the reason why this is confusing for salespeople is you go on this call and you're like, oh, dude, that was the greatest thing ever. I went, I said, here's the number. They didn't fight over it. They didn't ask me for any discounts. They're like, let's just do this. And so like your mind starts going, man, how do I make that work with every buyer that I go to? And you start pulling stuff out of your presentation. You start pulling parts and pieces out of what you're supposed to do. And this right here is why you should join my email publication. I will give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. I will give you a warning about this buyer though. You want to take good notes because there are times where a fast sell is a dangerous sell. And the reason for that is not everything was talked about and not everything was discussed. And there are going to be times where the person's like, look, I just want to buy. Okay. Just give me your stuff. I want you out of here. Give me your stuff, send over the invoice, whatever way you do it, whatever product or service that it happens to be. And the reason why this becomes dangerous for you is because you start shortcutting the process and you stop taking notes about what needs to be done. So like anytime that I ever meet with a laydown, my brain goes, this is fantastic. It's not normal. It's abnormal. It's okay that it happens, but I need to slow this process down at the end to explain to the buyer what they're getting and what's going on and what to expect, right? There is the bare minimum. So like I will tell people, this is my word track. Hey, there's a bare minimum amount of information that you and I have to go over and you and I have to document to make sure that we're both on the same page. I have no problem speeding up this process except for this one area. We're going to have to talk everything through. And to me, that's super importante, right? That's the way it's got to be. And so you as a salesperson, you as an expert, you as a professional, got to realize that that laid down buyer can happen because of outside circumstances. Like, hey, I don't ever like that Scott Sylvan Bell guy. Don't ever send him back to my house, or don't ever send him back to my business, or that's just their personality. Remembering if you're taking elements out of your salesperson, cutting corners, shortcutting corners. That's what my brain was trying to get to. If you're shortcutting the sales process, it's not normal. There's an amount of work that you got to do with everybody. And the reason I started with this buyer, it is really confusing to salespeople because of the way the elements roll out, right? Types of buyers, the laydown. There's also a saying in sales is it's your job, it's your role, it's your responsibility to turn each buyer into a laydown. And so there are some salespeople who are just magical about this. And when you watch them, you're like, How come everybody that person talks to is a laydown? Look at the word tracks they're using, look at the questions they're using, and look at the tie downs that they have when they use this process. You got one of three things to do from here. Just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you will get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. Tag them. They'll love you. I'll love you. We'll see you soon.